few minutes ago, I looked up the definition of sport. It is considered an activity involving physical exertion and skill in which an individual or team competes against another or others for entertainment. Now, people are going to be wondering why I was looking this up. And it's because I'm starting to notice, well, forget starting to notice, I've always noticed this, that the definition of sport seems to depend to certain people on what does not bore them, what bores them or doesn't bore them. So you will see people say, auto racing, NASCAR, any of those, that's not a sport because it's just driving a car around. And then you'll see golf is not a sport because they're just swinging a ball and chasing it. And then there's cheerleading, and I'll go into that in a minute. Just because you might be bored by a specific sport or game, as you will, doesn't mean it's not a sport. It said on that definition, physical exertion. So let me ask any of you a question. Are you telling me you think you can drive a race car 200 miles per hour? What do you think? You think that's just easy for 500 miles? 200 laps? You think that's easy? Just imagine holding on. Just imagine holding on at a rate of speed of 200 miles an hour while while you have everybody else on your tail all the time. And then you have to hold on to the steering wheel, which can, and at that rate of speed, can spin you out of control if you don't hold on. And you're telling me that that's not a sport? You could probably lose 10 pounds of sweat in that place, and that is definitely a sport. Now, golf, I can see somebody's point in comparison to, say, football, basketball, any of those. But while what you're seeing is basically swinging a ball, remember a few things. Number one, for all 4 days of a tournament, or 2 if someone misses a cut, someone is walking upwards of about 7,200 yards a day. Uphill, downhill, any of those. You got to remember, most of the time when duffers or just amateur golfers or people that play for fun are playing, they're in a golf cart. Remember that the professional golfers can't have golf carts. So try one time to walk all 18 holes. Swinging the thing and then walking all 18 hills, up, down, straight ahead, everything. It's a lot more tiring than you think. Plus, then also you have to think about your shot. You have to think about everything. These are athletes, and yes, that's a sport. And yeah, I'm going to do a controversial take. Cheerleading is a sport. Whether you're doing flips, whether you're holding them in the air, and remember these are average about 120 pounds that you're holding in the air, by yourself mostly. And then you're doing these choreographies, so yeah, that's the entertainment part. So regardless of any of that, cheerleading is a sport. That makes it a sport because it's physical exertion. And see, I'm bringing all of this just because, like I said to you earlier, you're making these definitions of sport based off of your opinion of what might bore you. It's not up to you to decide. All I can say is the vast majority of you that say that couldn't drive a race car for one lap without tiring. They definitely couldn't cheerlead, and I promise you they'll be done after 9. I promise you that. So start thinking a little differently about what you consider a sport. Because in the end, your boredom doesn't make that decision.